Tonight, we saw a lot of stuff, a lot of antics. In the world of boxing, now social media and extracurricular activities outside of the ring stuff seem to trump talent, or at least get more views than just achieving in the ring. What was supposed to be a transcendent night, a special night for the three Davis brothers that go by DB3, it was instead an odd night, and one that might change the trajectory of at least one of the brothers' careers, if not all of them. Keyshawn Davis, the lead member of DB3, the Olympic silver medalist from the 2020 Olympic Games, ended up missing weight by over 4 pounds. His fight with Edwin De Los Santos ended up being canceled, and he no longer is a title holder. He said that he has to move up to junior welterweight. That's all fine and good, but he didn't really offer an explanation why he couldn't make the weight other than saying he couldn't make the weight. And the frustration with that is he signed a contract saying he could make the weight, which, as simple as it sounds, that's all you have to do when you sign up for a fight. So it's a bit frustrating, and it shows two things that I think are a bit concerning with Keyshawn Davis currently, which are emotional maturity and taking accountability for his actions. We'll go further into this. Abdullah Mason then stepped in as the new main event to take on Jeremiah Nakatila. Mason is somewhat the opposite of Keyshawn Davis. Yes, he doesn't have the prestigious amateur career per se as an Olympian, but he's passed every check mark of stiff competition, gradually moving up the ranks, and he seems very humble and delighted to be there, and he was really taking on the responsibility of being a 21-year-old in front of a lot of cameras and a lot of stardom, and he's taking the responsibility very serious, and it's refreshing. And I think Tim Bradley spoke to this on the telecast, is in an era of social media antics and saying absurd things, Abdullah Mason is kind of the rare young fighter who feels like a fighter from a different generation, humble, wanting to fight, get in the ring, and earn his respect through his performances and not extracurricular activities such as building a social media presence or, talking about being a business guy or whatever. And that, Keyshawn Davis obviously calls himself the businessman. One has to start to question what kind of business he's in if he gets a major main event fight canceled and misses out on a check. That's not very business-like. So then we skip ahead to the fight night. Kelvin Davis loses to Nahir Wu Albright, a good regional Philly fighter. It happens, right? Kelvin Davis, good amateur. He wasn't as good as Keyshawn. He took a break from the sport. He came back at the 2019 Olympic trials at the Eastern qualifiers. He has some ability, but it's always been when guys step away from the sport, they never quite get the fluidity back. So he's always going to be a bit of a project. He's working on some stuff. Albright is a tough, rugged guy who kind of exposed some things. And I think one thing he exposed is Kelvin Davis stands a little too tall at times, and that right hand was too easy for him to catch him with, right? So after the fight, you lose a fight. It's a sport, whatever. Sadly, we get information that there was an incident backstage. I won't get into the incident. You'll probably have already heard about it, with Keyshawn Davis and other people involving Nahir Albright. I'm not really sure why you would do this, but now you're taking the emotion of the moment. I get your brother lost, but now it's turning into something that's not sport. It's more spectacle. It's more working off of emotion. And the sad part is, while Abdullah Mason is rising up the ranks and becoming a fan favorite for his performances, for saying things you'd love to hear your child say, for basically just being kind of a stand-up, decent person and putting forth great efforts, Keyshawn Davis in his hometown fight that was supposed to really push him to that next level, I think lost a lot of fans this week, whether it was him missing weight, whether it was the nonsense with Nahir Wu Albright, which we don't even know the full extent of, but that is pretty awful, or even just, whatever, maybe explanations of the thing. It feels currently like these two fighters are trending, but they're trending in the wrong direction. Keyshawn Davis he has the skill set, but he needs the maturity to go to that next level. Maybe Abdullah Mason might not have had all the skills that Keyshawn entered the pros with, but his level of maturity and accountability right now is moving him close to Keyshawn's level. If not, he's about to pass Keyshawn if Keyshawn's not careful, because his humility and ability to adjust in these situations and take accountability is allowing his growth and development to go further. This is a huge turning point in the Davis brothers' career, because this is the first moment they've had which has not been a honeymoon in the pros, and it's going to be curious to see how they adjust from this point on, because this is a big issue. There's multiple issues that went wrong that really should never happen. You shouldn't miss weight. You shouldn't get into an incident backstage with your opponent. And meanwhile, the person that replaced Keyshawn Davis on this card is possibly the most popular American up-and-comer who people think has the greatest potential, and he put on another great show. So those are my thoughts. Leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel if you think I'm a halfway decent guy. And let me know your thoughts as we compare and contrast Keyshawn Davis and Abdullah Mason. Am I on the money on my assessment? Am I being a politician? What do you think? Let me know.